Hey, y'all, grab a coffee, settle in, because I'm about to tell you a story that'll hit you right in the gut. A story about a guy named Jack, a single dad from a dusty little town called Red Hollow, who thought he'd lost everything, only to find out what really matters when the world turns against you. It's raw, it's real, and it's got a twist that'll make you rethink what it means to stand tall. If this moves you, drop a comment with where you're watching from and hit that subscribe button. Your support keeps these stories coming. Jack's a guy you'd pass in the grocery store and not think twice about. Rough hands, faded flannel, the kind of guy who'd rather sweat than complain. He's been raising his 9-year-old daughter, Mia, alone ever since his wife passed 3 years back, cancer taking her too soon. Jack worked at the old steel mill in Red Hollow, hauling crates, fixing machines, whatever kept the lights on and Mia's crayons stocked. He wasn't chasing glory, just a paycheck and a promise to his little girl that she'd always have a dad she could look up to. But one Tuesday, that promise got tested in a way he never saw coming. It started with a phone call, right in the middle of his shift. Mia's school, she'd been pushed around again. Some kids tearing up her sketchbook, calling her names cause she didn't have the fancy clothes or the perfect lunchbox. Jack's heart sank, hearing her small voice through the principal's phone. He stepped away from the line to talk, just for a minute, but his boss, Mitch, a guy with a smirk sharper than a switchblade, caught him. "Hey, Malone," Mitch bellowed across the mill, loud enough for every guy on the floor to turn. "We don't pay you to play daddy on company time." Jack, still clutching the phone, didn't back down. "It's my kid, Mitch. She needs me." Mitch's eyes narrowed, that smirk curling tighter. "Then go be her hero somewhere else. You're done here." The mill went quiet, like the air got sucked out. Jack stood there, frozen, the guys he'd worked with for years staring, not one of them saying a word. His toolbox hit the floor with a clang, and as he walked out, final paycheck in hand, he could feel their whispers trailing him like smoke. A man fired for answering a call from his kid in Red Hollow. That's the kind of thing folks don't forget. That night, Jack sat at his kitchen table, bills piled up like a losing poker hand, staring at him like they might burn away if he glared hard enough. Mia was across from him, doodling with her broken crayons, her little legs swinging. She looked up, those big eyes catching his silence. "Dad, did I mess things up for you?" she asked, voice barely above a whisper. Jack's throat caught, like someone had jammed a fist in it. He forced a grin, ruffled her hair. "Nah, kiddo, you're the best thing I got going." But inside, he was unraveling the memory of Mitch's sneer, the guy's laughter. It clawed at him. He'd promised Mia she'd always be proud of him, that he'd keep her safe, but now? He felt like he'd let her down, like he'd let himself down. Later, on the porch, under a sky heavy with stars, he buried his face in his hands, anger and helplessness mixing like a bad drink. He'd stood up for his kid, but at what cost? Then, out of nowhere, a low rumble broke the quiet deep, like the earth itself was growling. Jack looked up, heart thumping, as headlights cut through the dark. Motorcycles, dozens of them, rolled up to his house, chrome glinting under the streetlights. Neighbors peeked through curtains, probably thinking trouble had come to Red Hollow. Jack stood, fists ready, not sure what to expect. A tall guy dismounted, boots heavy on the pavement, tattoos snaking up his arms under a leather vest patched with RBF, Roughneck Brotherhood Forever. Red Hollow had heard of him, tough guys who owned the roads, whispered about in bars, not exactly the welcoming committee. The guy took off his helmet, revealing eyes that were sharp but steady, like he'd seen too much to be rattled. "You Jack Malone?" he asked, voice like gravel. Jack nodded, tense. "Yeah, who's asking?" The guy stepped closer, glancing at Mia's silhouette in the window. "Name's Cole. Word travels fast round here. Heard you took a stand for your girl, lost your job for it. That's the kind of thing we respect." Jack blinked, caught off guard. He hadn't told a soul, yet here they were, bikes idling like a storm waiting to break. Cole held out a gloved hand. "You're not alone, man. Not tonight." Jack stared at that hand, suspicion gnawing at him. What did a biker gang want with a washed-up mill worker? "What's your angle?" he asked, voice rough. Cole didn't flinch. "No angle, just respect. A man fights for his family, we stand with him. Simple as that." He set an envelope on the porch rail. "This ain't pity. It's solidarity. Open it when you're ready." Before Jack could say more, Cole signaled, and the bikes roared off, leaving the night quiet again, the envelope heavy in Jack's hand. Inside, Mia patted over, clutching her stuffed bear. Who were they, Dad? Jack tore open the envelope, finding a note. A man who stands for his kid doesn't fall alone. If you need us, we ride. RBF. Tucked inside was cash, not a fortune, but enough to keep the lights on for a month. Jack's chest tightened. Kindness from strangers like these wasn't something he was used to. He looked at Mia, her eyes wide. Are they bad guys? She whispered. Jack shook his head, a lump in his throat. No, kiddo, sometimes the world's not what you think. But Red Hollow wasn't done with Jack. Next morning, he took Mia to Harper's Market for groceries, dreading the stares. Small towns talk, and Jack's firing was the juiciest gossip since the mayor's scandal. Sure enough, outside the store, Mitch's lapdog, Vince, was waiting with a couple of mill guys, all smirks and cheap beer breath. Well, look at Daddy of the Year, Vince called out, loud enough for shoppers to turn. Careful, Malone, don't answer your phone in the bread aisle, might lose your shopping privileges. The guys laughed, sharp and mean, and Mia's hand tightened in Jack's. He wanted to swing, to wipe that smirk off Vince's face, but he kept walking, jaw clenched for her. Inside, Mia whispered, Why do they hate you, Dad? The question cut deeper than Vince's taunts. They don't get it, Mia, he said, voice tight. They don't know what matters. But the truth burned. Every laugh, every sneer, was stripping him raw, and he hated that Mia saw it. That night, Jack stood on the porch again, the weight of the day pressing down. He thought about Cole's note, about those bikes. Was it crazy to trust them, or crazier not to? Then, that rumble came again, low at first, then louder, like a promise. The RBF rolled up, filling the street with chrome and thunder. Cole climbed off, eyes locked on Jack. You ready to stop letting him laugh? He asked. Jack hesitated, glancing at Mia inside, clutching her bear. I don't want trouble, Cole. Cole smirked, shaking his head. Trouble's already here, man. We're talking respect that boss of yours. Mitch, he thinks he can take it from you. He's wrong. Jack's pulse quickened. Mia slipped outside, her small hand finding his. It's okay, Dad, she whispered, giving him a nod. Jack exhaled, fear and fire mixing. What's the plan? Cole's eyes glinted. Tomorrow, we ride to that mill. Let's see who's laughing then. Dawn broke, and Jack barely slept, nerves chewing at him. He pulled on his only decent jacket, kissed Mia's forehead. Be brave, Dad, she said, hugging him tight. Outside, the RBF waited, engines growling like a pack of wolves. Cole tossed him a helmet. You're with us. The ride through Red Hollow felt like a movie, bikes weaving, townsfolk staring, the road trembling under their weight. At the mill, workers gathered outside, eyes wide as the convoy rolled in. Vince stepped forward, smirking like always. What's this, Malone? Hired a circus? Cole dismounted, boots hitting the ground hard. Not a circus, a brotherhood. Jack's heart pounded as every eye turned to him. For once, he didn't shrink. He stood taller, fists ready. Vince circled, laughing. Couldn't handle getting canned. So you brought the leather parade? Jack's jaw tightened, but Cole cut in, voice low, deadly. This man chose his daughter over your bullshit, and you mocked him for it. That stops now. The crowd murmured, some guys shifting, uncomfortable. Jack stepped forward, voice shaking but clear. I took a call from my kid, 'cause she was hurting. If that's weak, fine. But I won't let you make me a joke in front of her, not ever again. Vince's smirk flickered, but he doubled down, spitting on the ground. You're nothing, Malone. Always will be. The air crackled, tense enough to snap. Then Vince shoved Jack, hard, sending him stumbling. The crowd gasped, but before Jack could swing, Cole was there, pushing Vince back with a force that sent him crashing into a stack of crates. The bikers shifted, ready, but Cole raised a hand. No fists. Not today. Jack steadied himself, locking eyes with Vince, who was scrambling up, red-faced. You can fire me, Jack said, voice like iron. But you can't shame me. Not anymore. My daughter knows I stood up. A few workers clapped, hesitant, then louder. Vince's face twisted, his power slipping. Cole's voice cut through, calm but sharp. Bullies only stand tall, till someone says no. Looks like you're out of laughs, Vince. The crowd turned, some guys nodding, others whispering. A young worker spoke up. Jack's right. I'd do the same for my boy. Another added. Firing him was crap. He worked harder than most. Vince shouted, "Shut it!" But his voice cracked, and nobody listened. His reign was over, crumbling in the dust of the mill yard. Vince stormed off, the door slamming behind him, and the air shifted. Workers clapped Jack's shoulder, some muttering apologies. Cole nodded, a faint smirk on his lips. "You stood tall, man. It's done." Jack's chest heaved, not with fear, but with something new pride. He climbed onto Cole's bike, and the RBF roared out, the town watching, not with judgment, but awe. Back home, Mia ran out, bare in arms. "Were you brave, Dad?" Jack knelt, pulling her close. "For you always." She grinned, taping a new drawing to the fridge, two stick figures on a bike, soaring under the sun. Jack's eyes burned. He hadn't just faced Vince. He'd given Mia a memory of a dad who didn't fold. Weeks later, the RBF became family, stopping by with coffee, checking on Mia. The town still whispered, but Jack didn't care. Cole left a patch on the porch one day, not a demand, but an offer. Jack held it, feeling its weight, not just leather, but respect, earned. He wasn't a biker, not a fighter, but he was a father who'd found his ground. And here's the thing, standing up cost Jack his job, maybe his old life, but it gave him something bigger, a brotherhood, a daughter's pride, a reason to keep going. But it leaves you wondering, doesn't it? Was Jack right to lean on the RBF, or did he trade one kind of trouble for another? What would you do if the world laughed at your fight for family? Drop a comment. Tell me your take. Is this justice, or just a louder kind of chaos? Hit that bell, share this story, and let's keep talking about what it really means to stand tall.